Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gaur Premanande. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivijaka Charja Asto Tara Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivijaka Charja Asto Tara Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prayam Sikao Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kun Giri Govardhan ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Ziskan ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Ziskan Mayapur ki jai. Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvasesha Senivari Paschatadesha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. This morning's class in the beautiful Bhagavatam. Today's class is Canto 3, Chapter 5, Text 10. Parāvareṣāṁ bhagavan vratāni śrutāni me vyāsa-mukhād abhīkṣṇam atṛpnuma kṣulla-sukhāvahānāṁ teṣām kṛṣṇa-kathāmṛtaughāt parāvareṣāṁ bhagavan vratāni śrutāni me vyāsa-mukhād abhīkṣṇam atṛpnuma kṣulla-sukhāvahānāṁ teṣām kṛṣṇa-kathāmṛtaughāt Anyone else? para, higher, avareṣāṁ, of these lower, bhagavan, O my Lord, O Great One, vratāni, occupations, śrutāni, heard, by me, vyāsa-mukhād, from the mouth, abhīkṣṇam, repeatedly, atṛpnuma, I am satisfied, kṣulla, little, sukha-āvahānāṁ, that which causes happiness, teṣām, out of that, without, kṛṣṇa-kathā talks about the personality of Godhead. Lord Krishna, amṛta-oghāt, from the nectar. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. O my Lord, this is Vidura talking to Maitreya. O my Lord, I have repeatedly heard about these higher and lower statuses of human society from the mouth of Vyāsadeva, and I am quite satiated with all these lesser subject matters and their happiness. They have not satisfied me with the nectar of topics about Krishna. So I say, and you can repeat, O my Lord, I have repeatedly heard about these higher and lower statuses of human society from the mouth of Vyāsadeva. And I am quite satiated with all these lesser subject matters and their happiness. They have not satisfied me with the nectar of topics about Krishna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Because people are very much interested in hearing social and historical presentations, Srila Vyāsadeva has compiled many books, such as the Puranas and the Mahabharata. These books are reading matter for the mass of people, and they were compiled with a view to reviving their God consciousness, now forgotten in the conditional life of material existence. The real purpose of such literatures is not so much to present topics of historical references, but to revive the people's sense of God consciousness. For example, Mahabharata is the history of the battle of Kurukshetra, and common people read it because it is full of topics regarding the social, political, and economic problems of human society. But factually, the most important part of Mahabharata is Bhagavad Gita, which is automatically taught to readers along with the historical narrations of the Battle of Kurukshetra. Vidura explained to Maitreya his position of being fully satiated with the knowledge of mundane social and political topics and having no more interest in them. He was anxious to hear transcendental topics regarding Lord Sri Krishna, because there were insufficient topics directly concerning Krishna in the Puranas, Mahabharata, etc., he was not satisfied and wanted to know more about Krishna. Kṛṣṇa-kathā, or topics regarding Krishna, are transcendental, and there is no satiation in hearing such topics. Bhagavad Gita is important on account of its being Kṛṣṇa-kathā, or speeches delivered by Lord Krishna. The story of the battle of Kurukshetra may be interesting for the mass of people, but to a person like Vidura, who is highly advanced in devotional service, only Kṛṣṇa-kathā and that which is dovetailed with Kṛṣṇa-kathā is interesting. Vidura wanted to hear of everything from Maitreya, and so he inquired from him, but he desired that all the topics be in relationship with Krishna. As fire is never satisfied in its consumption of firewood, so a pure devotee of the Lord never hears enough about Krishna. Historical events and other narrations concerning social and political incidents all become transcendental as soon as they are in relationship with Krishna. That is the way to transform mundane things into spiritual identity. The whole world can be transformed into Vaikuntha if all worldly activities are dovetailed with Kṛṣṇa-kathā. There are two important Kṛṣṇa-kathās currently in the world, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita is Kṛṣṇa-kathā because it is spoken by Krishna, whereas Srimad Bhagavatam is Kṛṣṇa-kathā because it narrates about Krishna. Lord Chaitanya advised all of his disciples to preach Kṛṣṇa-kathā all over the world without discrimination, because the transcendental value of Kṛṣṇa-kathā can purify one and all from material contamination. Om Agyantimarindasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mayam Dadanti Swapadantikam. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopeka Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gourangi Radha Brindavaneshwari Brisha Bhanustute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhupayevcha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So once again this verse. O my Lord, I have repeatedly heard about these higher and lower statuses of human society from the mouth of Vyāsadeva, and I am quite satiated with all these lesser subject matters and their happiness. They have not satisfied me with the nectar of topics about Krishna. So what's going on here? What's the picture? Vidura Prabhu is speaking with Maitreya, and he's complaining nicely that he's not getting enough Kṛṣṇa-kathā. He said, even in Mahabharata, not enough Kṛṣṇa-kathā for Vidura. However, this whole writing by Srila Vyāsadeva, was meant to attract people to read it, you see. So why? Because there's adventure. Well, it's a great story. People like a good adventure. There's so much going on, action, heroes, battle. People are being defeated. People are winning. So this is good. I've often thought that Mahabharata would make the best movie ever because it's got everything. It's got love. It's got incredible story. It's like they say, you can't write this stuff. This actually happened. And so it's got everything. So it's meant to attract the common man. Someone says, hey, have you read this book, this Mahabharata? Well, what's so big about Mahabharata? Well, it's got everything. Well, there's action, there's battle, superb weapons, heroes, love, you name it, it's in this book. So people are attracted. Let me read this book. That sounds very wonderful. Someone narrate that story to me. And somewhere along the line, they hear about Krishna. So if we hear about Krishna, we become attracted to Krishna. If we don't hear about Krishna, we don't become attracted to Krishna. If we just hear of adventure and love stories and people launching genius battle plans, if we just hear about that, we may eat a lot of popcorn at the movie, and we may go on and talk to our friends about how they were swinging the swords and shooting the arrows. But without kṛṣṇa-kathā, we don't become attracted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is Vidura. He's complaining in a nice way. He's saying, I've had it. I'm satiated with all the stories of Mahabharata. I've had it because I've got a taste of Krishna. I'm not getting enough Krishna. My doctor said that I need more Krishna in my diet. So I'm looking for talks about Krishna. And so here we find ourselves as the devotees of Krishna. We become more and more attracted to kṛṣṇa-kathā. Kṛṣṇa-kathā becomes everything to us. Well, it's something we seek out on a daily basis. I remember back in the 70s in the New York Temple, I forget the name, it was Rajendranath, this devotee named Rajendranath. And he was the treasurer of the New York Temple. And so if you needed to go buy something for the temple, you had to go to Rajendranath to get the money. And he wasn't easy to get money from. You had to have a really good story. And so on his desk was a little sign, and it said, tell me something about Krishna. So you had to tell him something about Krishna. And you couldn't just say Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No, no. So you're not getting any money. You're not getting out that door until you tell me a story about Krishna. So, and I asked him later on, why do you have that there? We just want to come and do business and, get on with our day. He said, because I like to hear about Krishna. You'd be amazed what I hear. You see, I'm sitting here doing this work. I can't read all day, but I have people who do read a lot, and they come in and they tell me, kṛṣṇa-kathā. He really was attracted to hearing about Krishna. So the devotee develops a taste. After some time, we develop a taste for hearing about Krishna. And I like the analogy that Srila Prabhupada uses about the fire. Have you ever noticed if you're ever out camping, and it's, maybe you're camping and it's kind of cold, and you build a fire. Can you put too much wood in the fire? I mean, you could put too much at one time, but you keep feeding wood into the fire, and the fire just keeps eating it. It's like the fire is always has the attitude, give me more. Oh, that is very good. What was that? Oak? Oh, very good. Do you have any pine? You know, the fire is ready to go, more and more. So the devotee becomes like that. We become attracted to kṛṣṇa-kathā. We want it all the time. We want as much of it as we can get. And sometimes when we get started on our kṛṣṇa-kathā, it's very difficult to quit, isn't it? You know, sometimes, have you ever been in a situation where you're preaching to some newer people about Krishna, and they're really asking wonderful questions about Krishna? And so you're having this wonderful exchange, and it's a Sunday feast, and it's getting late, and they need to close the temple, but you're there, blah, 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 about Krishna, and the guests are talking about Krishna. So someone politely taps you on the shoulder and says, you know, we need to close up here. We need to sweep the floor. So could you move it outside? So you go outside on the patio, and you're doing the same thing out there. The people are ecstatic to hear this kṛṣṇa-kathā. They can't get enough of it. It's like they have no place in the world to go. It's kind of like this is the only place in the world to be right now. Well, I've never had this kṛṣṇa-kathā. This is really tasty. So the evening goes on, and someone taps you on the shoulder and says, you know, we really need to clean up out here because it's really getting late. You know, it's 10 o'clock, and so you have to move it to the parking lot, you know, because they're not ready to go yet. So you walk them to their car. So here we are standing beside our cars, and the kṛṣṇa-kathā still goes on. Why is it? Basically because these people who have just tasted kṛṣṇa-kathā, they can't stop. Now this is the most wonderful thing that they've ever experienced, and they're processing it in their minds, and this comes up with many, many questions. So when you have people that are like this, you can bet that they're going to come back, right? They're going to come back. So you can tell them, you know, we have another program Tuesday night, and we have a program Thursday, and Saturday we have, would you like to go? Yeah, I want to come to all of them, if I can work it out. So this kṛṣṇa-kathā, spreading kṛṣṇa-kathā, this is our occupation. We do this. We talk to people, and then as they develop a taste for kṛṣṇa-kathā, we give them some book. That's all that we've talked about tonight is in this book. Really? Yeah, it's all in here. And we have several other books. Why, we have unlimited discussion of Krishna. So this is our occupation. This is what we do in ISKCON. We spread Lord Chaitanya's movement by giving Krishna. Just giving Krishna. It's very simple. If you want to give them a whole lot of, some people like to, and I'm not criticizing, but some people like to load people up with a whole lot of shlokas. So here I am, I'm a new person, and you're talking in Sanskrit. I have not learned Sanskrit. I've learned a couple of languages, but Sanskrit is not one of them. And you're talking a lot of Sanskrit. It's going right over my head, and I don't understand. You see? But I'm really impressed that you know so much of it. Wow. What does it mean? You see? So, you can cover them up with Sanskrit, and it doesn't necessarily give them what they really are hankering for as far as kṛṣṇa-kathā. You have to talk to people and tell them some benefits. It's like I was talking with Jivananda Prabhu, my godbrother, just before this class. We were talking about in marketing, they teach you features and benefits. That's the process. Because it's like I was saying, if you take, if you're selling bead bags, so you can tell someone this bag will hold your beads. That's a feature. So psychologists have determined that there is the so what feature. All our minds, pretty much all of our minds, work this way. You tell me this bag will hold my beads, subconsciously a little voice says, so what? And so, that's the feature. The benefit of this bag holding your beads is that they stay clean and they don't rattle around. You see, you've got them all in one place, and it's got this nice little hoop. You can put it around your neck and you won't lose them. You see? And these beads here, as you chant, you can pull these down and keep. So I'm giving you features and I'm giving benefits. Not just a list of features. So this kind of demonstrates the difference between teaching and preaching. Teaching, people will tell you so many features, and they'll give you so much backup as far as shlokas, you see. And the preacher is going to tell you why that's good for you, and the preacher ultimately is going to ask you to do something. It's like a marketer. He's not showing you the bead bag just so you'll say, oh goody, that looks nice. He's going to ask you to take another step. I want you to take this bead bag for your benefit. And I want you to picture how much your life will be improved by owning this bead bag. You can keep your beads in the bag and so on. We've already discussed it. I want you to do this. So the teacher gives you information. Information that will allow you to make a decision. But the teacher's job is not necessarily to get you to make a decision. The preacher's job is to give you enough information to get you to make a decision and kind of give you a gentle push to make a decision by saying, so you like this kṛṣṇa-kathā? Yeah, this Krishna sounds pretty good, doesn't he? What is it that you like about Krishna? Oh, now I'm personalizing how I feel about God. So you like that about Krishna? Kind of makes you feel good when you think about that, doesn't it? I think maybe you're a candidate to take another step. I think maybe you should chant this Hare Krishna. What do you think? Can you do that? Will you do that? If we give you a set of beads and a bead bag, will you chant? Could you do 4 rounds a day? Huh? You see what I mean? I'm pushing you along. I'm not just giving you information, although that's good. I don't want the teachers to say, well, what's wrong with me? Nothing wrong. It's just that the preachers have a tendency to go for the throat. We want you to join. We want you to surrender to Krishna. We want, if it's possible, we want you to take it all the way. I can remember many times on the bus, the Radha Damodar bus, and I would be preaching with Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Vishnu Jan Swami. And this is exactly their format of preaching. Do you like what you're hearing? Is this good? You know, have you ever felt better than you felt during the kirtan today? You know, these are powerful. How did you like that kirtan? You know, get people to express. Oh, it was wonderful. Have you ever felt better? No, never, no. Wow. What about this Krishna? Sounds like an attractive guy. Yeah. Yeah, he's a pretty wonderful fellow. He doesn't sound like the kind of God that you've read about before. No, he's wonderful, yeah. See, so you're really, I guess what you're saying is you're being attracted to this philosophy. Yes. So perhaps you can make another step. You could take it closer. I think you have got the horsepower to be one of us. What do you think? Yeah, I can do this. Okay. We know that you will. We know that you can. Now will you? Will you? So many times they would stay up until very, very late on the bus, and the people they were preaching to would surrender right there on the spot. Again and again and again, all across the country. Same program. So the bus is leaving tomorrow. You're going to come with us, aren't you? Yeah, I want to come too. You want to distribute these books, don't you? Yeah, I want to do it. Yeah. So, all right. So we're going to be ready to go in about 3 hours. Well, can I go home and get my dog? No, you can't bring your dog. No. How about my girlfriend? Nah, you can't bring your girlfriend. No. Well, I should probably go get some clothes or something. No, we've got clothes for you. You don't have to do anything. Huh? Just get on that bus. We're going to be rolling out, and we're going to be rolling out of here in 1 hour. Okay, Vipra, get the bus rolling in 1 hour. Pretty soon you'd hear bus motor starts. So this is very effective. And most of those devotees went on to become very, very great devotees, and they made a great contribution to our movement. Vaisheshika Prabhu was one of those guys. I'm having a blank right now. There's so many names, and Bhima, Tripurari Swami, Dristadumna Swami. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on and on. And there's still great devotees today. So, but this was this method, preaching. Preaching means I want you to do something. Would you do something for, you ever notice if you ask that question to somebody, would you do something for me? The tendency is, sure, what? You ever noticed? Would you do something for me? Now this is assuming that you've established a good rapport with them, okay? They kind of like you a little bit. So then you slip it in. Would you do something for me? Yeah. Would you chant Hare Krishna if I gave you the beads in the bead bag? Would you? Sure. Yeah. You see? So I say this to say that this kṛṣṇa-kathā, if you use it in the proper way, it will pull people toward taking up Krishna consciousness. We don't want to just cover them up with really great stories. That's great. If we give them the stories, if we give them the philosophy, what do we want? We want them to become pure devotees. We want them to become leaders of our movement. We want them to take over this movement someday when we get too old to do it. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for people to come on in and be an active, effective part of our movement. So therefore we preach. And it's also nice to teach. Teaching is there, but somebody, whenever you have someone that's delivering information, you need what they call a closer. Do you ever heard that term? A closer? It's like sometimes people would be in a sales process. They would educate the prospect by the benefits and features of the product or service, and they're starting to get interested, so then they bring in a closer. The closer makes the deal happen. He unites everything together for everyone's benefit. Everyone benefits. So that's the preacher. He's the closer. He closed the deal. Join our movement. Will you become one of our family? You want to join Prabhupada's family now, don't you? You see? So, I think I'll pause now and see if there are any questions or comments, criticisms.
Thank you, Prabhu. You mentioned about Vishnu Jan Swami and Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Can you tell please something about their character or qualities of their personalities?
Yes. Vishnu Jan Swami was extremely personal. He could talk to people, and after just a few seconds, they would know everything about each other. He could get people to talk about themselves. When you get someone to talk about themselves, that's striking some personal relationship. And if you're expert about it, because people like to talk about themselves, if you're expert about it, you can get them to tell you everything about themselves. So this is very personal, but it's also very valuable when you ask them to join, when you try to close the deal. Well, you've told me that you've had some difficulty in your love life for a long time. You've told me that you're not very attached to your family because you didn't have a very good upbringing. And they're like, yeah. And you also mentioned that you're really looking for a way to get out of this turmoil of material existence. Isn't it? Yes, yes. So, therefore, I propose to you. So he's very good at that. On a personal basis, he could, Tamal Krishna Maharaj was very much like a prosecuting attorney. He would do the same thing, but he would do it in a different way. You know. Well, I really think you should join. I mean, you said that you're not very much attached to your girlfriend. You think she doesn't love you enough. Did you not say that? Oh, yeah. And you said that you're really not happy living at home with mom and dad. That's what you said, isn't it? It's like you expect him to tell the court reporter to play that back, you know. What did he say? Well, he said that he wasn't happy with living at home with his mother and father. See, you said that. I'm trying to work with you here. I'm trying to help. He used to do this. I'm trying to help you. To help you. You need to help yourself. There's only so much I can do. I'm just trying to wake up your mind. You do want your mind woken up, yes? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't look like the kind of guy that wants to go through life in a fog. Oh. You do want the truth, yes? Yeah, yeah. So then, you need to join us. You need to leave with this bus. Don't you think? Yes. When is the bus leaving? It's leaving in 20 minutes. Crank the bus up. We're leaving in 20 minutes. We're adaptable. Whatever it takes to get you, to get your stuff, and get on that bus and come with us. We're going to give you deity worship. We're going to cover you up in kṛṣṇa-kathā. We're going to immerse you in opulent, delicious prasadam. You're going to hear about Prabhupada's books all day, every day. You're going to distribute Prabhupada's books all day, every day. We're going to go to every festival in North America. When anything big is happening, you'll be there. This is true. And so that was the team. They worked together like that. I guess you could call them, what do they say, good cop, bad cop? They were both good cops, but one was a little tougher than the other. Vishnujan Maharaj was more soft. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was a little bit more driving, but both very effective. They were roommates in San Francisco when they met Srila Prabhupada. At the Morning Star Farm, I don't know if anybody has heard of the Morning Star Farm. Balaram, have you heard so you know the stories? Yeah, you know about it, you know. It was a hippie farm. Crazy hippie farm. So, after they met Srila Prabhupada, they were on their way back to San Francisco. And so, on the drive back, they were discussing it. What did you think about this Swami? Oh, he was amazing. Wasn't that incredible? What do you think about this Krishna consciousness? Is this for us? Yes, this is for us. Do you think we should do this? Should we join this Krishna consciousness? Yes, we've got to do it. Someday. Someday. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he was telling me this story. He says, yeah, someday. But what is the value of someday? If we've determined that this is something we must do, why not do it now? I say we go back to San Francisco, get a few things, let go of the apartment, and move into the temple. If we're going to do it someday, why not today? Vishnujan said, yes, let's do this. And so they did. They became devotees, very valuable devotees. So, thousands of stories about them and their preaching. But these were effective preachers. Effective, meaning that they got results. So we have to start. They say in business, you start with the end in mind. What is it that you want to achieve? Are you just going to go talk, 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 talk? until they say, hey, I think maybe I want to join, or they get tired of hearing you talk and they leave. So you've got to have some idea. What do I want from you? I want you to become part of our family. Yes?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank
Hare
you for the
Krishna.
class. Prabhuji, the examples that you have given is in the scenario of preaching to a new person, preaching to new people. How about people who are already, they have come to Krishna consciousness? So you said you would ask them, will you do something for me? And a new person is like, yes, I'll do. What is the dynamics with those who are already in Krishna consciousness? How do you keep them inspired, and how do you, keep them, inspired?
Well, to the degree that they have made some progress, and gained some knowledge of Krishna consciousness, then you can apply Guru Sadhu Shastra. You can quote Shastra. You've heard where Krishna says this, yes? And on the other morning, we were listening to a tape of Prabhupada, and I remember you mentioned that you agreed with what Prabhupada said. So you're using knowledge that they already have. We're using what was given us by Guru, Sadhu, Shastra.
So there it is more like giving knowledge than actually physically engaging them.
Well, after they've become devotees, now we've got them to join our family. Now we need to engage them. And that can be a struggle. Sometimes, if I'm not personal enough with them, I may try to get them to do something that's just totally not, doesn't fit their persona. You see? If someone is advanced, then you can give them anything to do, they'll be happy to do it. But there's different levels of advancement. So as persons, dealing with persons, we have to determine what is this person's ability, what is their level of surrender. If I artificially try to get them to surrender to a level that they can't go to, I may push them away. Subconsciously, they will start thinking, perhaps this isn't for me. So we have to always be very, very personal. The downside with that is that takes longer.
Yeah.
Rather than just maybe throw a few things at them, get a little heavy.
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't want to clean the bathrooms? Do you think you're too good? Something like that.
So in that situation, if we just, you may call it information, but you're just discussing Bhagavatam on a regular basis, is that helpful? It may be considered teaching, but maybe that's the best I'm able to do at the present moment. Not able to physically engage them, but at least they're hearing something.
Yeah. Srila Prabhupada put everything in his books. Everything. How to manage people. If we pick up on Prabhupada's mood, we know exactly the perfect way to manage people, to satisfy people's desires and needs. Vaishnava etiquette. It's all there. We have to read it. We have to hear. We have to go to class.
Yes.
We have to hear. As Vaisheshika Prabhu says, we have to hear. We have to hear every day.
Yeah.
We have to hear a lot. We have to hear a lot every day. It's very important to hear constantly. Because there's a tendency in this material world for Gramya-kathā to grab hold of your consciousness. Why, did you hear about that collapse of the bridge in Baltimore? Why, 6 people were killed. Can you imagine being in a car going across that bridge when the boat hit it? Oh my God, yes. So that's so far away from kṛṣṇa-kathā, but there's lots of it. And I notice when people are doing Gramya-kathā, it's like one-upsman. You know, you say a story, well, I've got to come up with a better story than yours. So, wow, yeah, that bridge was something, but did you know that the vortex is spinning backwards, and this could mean that global warming is blah, 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 blah. So we can talk on and on and on. And Krishna is nowhere in our conversation.
Yeah.
That's not going to help. That's not going to help anything. It's not like people are going to think, wow, you know a lot of stuff. I'm really impressed with you. I think I need to hang around with you more often. No. They want to compete. Well, she thinks she knows a lot of stuff. I know as much as she does, probably more. And they have a tendency maybe not to hang around with you as much, because you know a lot of material stuff. This material katha is not attractive. It may give you a thrill for a few seconds. Wow, this big bridge that goes across some harbor in Baltimore. Whoa. And that's something that's important. It's going to be in the news for at least a week. So you can show how informed you are if you talk about it and have all the latest details. But as devotee of Krishna, we want to talk about Krishna. We're not concerned about the bridge. Things in the material world break all the time. Small things, big things. It's all fragile. So I'm not the slightest bit surprised that some big bridge broke. Does that answer your question?
Yes,
Yeah?
yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mataji?
Thank you, Maharaj, for such an interesting class describing the heydays of our Krishna conscious movement with Vishnujan Maharaj and Tamal Krishna Maharaj, where people joined by the score. Dozens and hundreds of people just joined. In today's scenario, it's a little different. People are more wary, people have heard so many things, people have so many excuses and so on. So while we may find it quite easy to preach to the man on the street or even to other devotees, when it comes to our own biological family, it's very difficult to make any headway with preaching Krishna consciousness. But I'm asking about my own self. I can see they are suffering. They're materially very well placed, but they're suffering. So my desire is obviously to somehow help them, but it's just blank wall, just a wall. So do you have any suggestions for me?
Yes, many, many times, if we're not careful, we will run completely out of our potency. But Krishna is the source of all potency. For us to be preachers, we have to be empowered by Guru and Krishna. It's not like I can study a lot, I can memorize shlokas, and then I'll be able to win people over. No, I have to desire, intense desire, to help spread Lord Chaitanya's movement. Then Guru and Krishna will give you the power that you need. You cannot do it on your own. We don't have the potency. As they say, we don't have the horsepower. We'll be wondering, how should I say, what if I do? Should I talk about the bridge in Baltimore? You know, we need direct empowerment from Guru and Krishna. The disciplic succession. You've got everybody that is really on your side. Guru, the parampara, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, the Panchatattva, the previous Acharya, 6 Goswamis, Radha and Krishna. You've got all these personalities, and they are completely behind you. They're willing to give you any and all help. If we ever start thinking that any success is my success, then I'm probably not going to do well. You just have to realize any and all success that I have in spreading Lord Chaitanya's movement is just His mercy. The more you surrender, the more mercy you get. It just works that way. So, if we want to be better preachers, we've got to become better surrenderers. Please instruct me, my Lord. Please direct me. Give me words to say that you want said. Use me as your instrument to touch the hearts that you want touched. That's the easy way. Then you don't have to become a great devotee. You don't have to impress anybody with vast knowledge. Krishna will give you the exact words to say at the exact time. Now, all we have to do is surrender.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you all so much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.